Now, Barnaby, I firmly believe that ultimately, whether a politician is in Parliament or not should be left to the voters. Other politicians shouldn't be kicking her out or anything. I just wonder, though, what can or should Parliament do about her to uphold Parliament's dignity and to tell the public that their politicians are there to uphold the law and not to break it?
Well, the first thing I do is remind people that when Labor and the Greens determine exactly the formation of the voice and what it does, it's the Greens who select people like Senator Lidia Thorpe, so be very, very careful. With that, obviously, there are issues pertaining to laws and your eligibility to be in the Parliament. And if you're charged with something that's a crime that could lead to imprisonment of more than a year, you're ineligible to be in Parliament, as you are if you're a bankrupt. But I don't know. I am of the view that let the Australian people deal with it, or the people of Victoria deal with it at the next election. If you want to back, vote for it. But it's a statement about the people who vote for her as much as it is about her. I think they might have been surprised by her actions, but now you're fully aware of them. And, if she continues to break the law, then she has to be dealt with by the law, and that's arrested.
And yet, Barnaby, I've seen so many censure motions in Parliament about this and that and this and that. It's time
they don't go anywhere. Let's be honest. They don't go anywhere,
but it's at least an expression of opinion, right? This is a disgrace.
Yeah.
But
of course,
to Anthony Albanese,
yeah.
his announcement today, Barnaby Joyce, about the voice.
Yes, more
crying, his Indigenous Australian, him crying, his Indigenous Australian minister also crying. Why all the tears, do you think?
Yeah, well, don't overwhelm me with guilt. Just inspire me with a cogent argument and the details. They're still withholding the details. We know that the Solicitor General has some, Stephen Donoghue. And as I quite clearly say throughout the day, if they don't trust you with the details, please don't trust them with your vote. This is one of the most substantial changes to the operating manual of Australia you'll ever see in your life. Now, we might have under Section 5126 laws that we can apply to Indigenous Aboriginal people, but this, as it would be inserted in Section Chapter 9, 129, I think, this is actually a change in the Constitution for everyone, for all Australians. It's not just Indigenous Australians, you all are affected by this. And with reference to the executive, that means they have a say in your Governor-General, Governor of the Reserve Bank, Cabinet, the public service. They are more powerful. This voice will be more powerful than cabinet ministers, because with the High Court, which in due course will define what consultation means, they have the capacity to go up and challenge things and say, well, I don't believe I was properly consulted, and therefore that law is unconstitutional. Therefore, before you go any further with the AUKUS, before you select your Governor-General, you better come talk to us. Now, that's a power that no cabinet minister has. And I am, at times I get very passionate about things in this place. I was very passionate about the excesses of Chinese ownership in our nation when Chinalco was going to buy out Rio, and the sale of Cubby Station back in 2009, called a racist, a bigot, a redneck, now just called correct. And I'll tell you what, I'm just as passionate about this, because I believe in a nation which we have a constitution that is blind to your race, blind to your creed, blind to your colour, blind to your religion. And now we are starting with the insertion of a racial clause into the Australian Constitution, a new racial clause in the year 2023. And with it comes a whole bevy of massive problems. So don't do it. It is not racist to vote no. Vote no. And against us is going to be all the, as you say, all the beautiful people, all the big businesses and the high salaries. Don't listen to them. This is not just a reference for teal seats. This is for you in your living room. It's going to change your life if this happens.
Big business has been totally corrupted, right, by the feel-good phenomena, also fear of seeming, racist.
Yeah, Louis
They are inflicting on Australia a new
Vuitton morality.
A new apartheid.
Louis Vuitton morality. That's what it is when these people that decide that this makes them feel good. But what are we saying? Are we saying that an Aboriginal Indigenous person in Mossman, because there are some, few, but there are some, has a greater right to an extra voice in the democracy of Australia than an Asian in a Moree because the other person was Asian? Are you actually going to vote for that? Are you going to endorse that principle?
It's ridiculous.
It's anathema.
Yep. A Sudanese refugee in Sunbury has one vote, but the Aboriginal aristocracy that were up there with the Prime Minister today, obviously many of them with European ancestry as well, they get 2 under this change. This is undemocratic and it is racist, and it would disgrace Australia if we embraced it. And as you say, it comes with so many dangers in the operation of democracy as well. Barnaby Joyce, I thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. I tell you, this cannot stand. This really will change Australia for the rest of the century, for your children as well. It is, I can't believe that we're so stupid that we would impose apartheid on this country.